Hello and welcome to Saints Live, the final whistle. I'm Steve Forbes.
And I'm Kenzie Benali.
Well, the weather conditions may have died down here at St Mary's, but Southampton's form certainly hasn't, as the Saints rounded off a largely dominant display with a 2-0 win here against Everton. Now here to discuss all the match reaction and analysis, we do have Dean Hammond and Paul Belverstone. Now Paul, we'll come to you first. How impressive was that win today?
Such a good performance, a way to see off a potentially tricky opponent. The first half was nothing to write home about. Both teams were a little bit struggling through that, but then Southampton have another gear they can kick into. They found that in the second half. They controlled the game. Everton didn't have a single shot on target in that game. I don't know which idiot beforehand said that it was unlikely Saints would keep a clean sheet. When they can control a game like that and not face a single shot, it's extraordinary. I think we've seen in recent weeks when Saints have gone up against teams with more expensive players, arguably better individual players, no one plays like a team like Southampton do. This is the difference at the moment. When they all work so hard for each other, perform as they do as different units like that, they're so good to watch, so good to enjoy watching, and they're going to pick up a lot of points this season.
Yeah, Dean, you were up here watching it with us. I bet you were itching to get back on the pitch there with that performance.
I'm not sure about that. It looks a bit quick now for me. But no, I was jumping around. A brilliant game. Like Paul mentioned there, it's a fantastic performance. Clean sheet, which, to be honest, we didn't expect. We expected an entertaining game, and it kind of caught life in the second half. Pretty even first half, but I thought in the second half, Southampton were excellent, full of energy, creative, full of ideas, and a brilliant performance. 2 excellent goals, and it's really, really hard, and it's really, really impressive to put a performance in like that and get a result like that after beating or performing so well against the so-called better teams, and then to come back to St Mary's and back it up with a brilliant result and a brilliant performance is impressive. I think that's the development in the team, and they're turning into a very, very good team and competitive against anyone in this league. And like Paul said, there's partnerships all over the team that were impressive today. I thought even though Fraser Forster didn't have a shot at goal today or a save to make, I thought the 2 centre-halves were excellent. The way they were really aggressive, tried to win the ball. Bednarek, I think that's the best I've seen him play. I thought he was really, really good. The 2 central midfielders again, excellent, dominated the game. When they needed to be patient with the ball, they were very, very good. When they needed to create something and up the tempo, they controlled that. And the 2 centre-forwards and Stuart Armstrong were excellent. I mean, watching Stuart Armstrong in the second half is what you want to see. You know, him being creative, on the front foot, loads of energy, and playing with a smile on his face, and he looks really fit again. You know, it's probably taken him a bit of time to get up to speed, but the last few weeks I think he's been really important and really impressive. So brilliant result, and it, like I say, backing up against Everton today. Yeah, looking forward to the rest of the season. I really am.
Yeah. Oh, most definitely. Certainly exciting times to come, and they really are excellent to watch at the moment. Let's breeze past the first half, shall we? Not a lot to talk about there. Let's fast forward to the 52nd minute when the first goal came. It was great pressing from Southampton, Belvers.
It was, yeah. Andre Gomez had only come on at half-time, hadn't he? And I think that's because they'd given Alan a torrid time in the first half, and he'd picked up a yellow card, and they were right on Andre Gomez again. He lost the ball, and Dean was talking about how impressive Oriol Romeu was before the game, and again he was involved in this goal just as he was the other day. He put it across for Shea Adams, who showed great composure, could have had a shot himself, but there's Stuart Armstrong. The finish though, I mean, what a finish against Coventry here. This was a different but equally brilliant finish, because he just picked out this near post little postage stamp area, put it through there, and he beat the England goalkeeper. I think tremendous goal. I said before the game about how the wide positions, those number 10s as Ralph calls them, that's perhaps an area where Saints need to improve a little bit. If they had 3 Stuart Armstrongs in the squad, there'd be no stopping them. He is a hugely impressive talent.
Well, Dean, you were waxing lyrical about Stuart Armstrong mere moments ago. You must have been loving that. It was his first goal of the season as well. Just how good was the strike, obviously for the accuracy on it, but then also, do you reckon Pickford should have done better?
Potentially. I think goalkeepers will always be frustrated when they're beaten at the so-called near post, and you'd expect Stuart Armstrong to go across the goal. And I think he's caught Pickford by surprise, but I'm not taking anything away from the finish. I think it's a fantastic finish. And if you really look at it and dissect it, he had a similar opportunity against Manchester United last week, and he went for power and blazed it over the bar and couldn't quite get it on target. So he's he's probably learnt from that. Really good composure, and he's picked his spot. It's not a fluke, side foot finish, but real power and accuracy into that corner, and really pleased for him because, like Paul's just said, he's such an impressive player, and he makes the difference. Southampton are a better team and a different team with him in the team when he's playing at his best like that. He had freedom of the pitch. He was almost playing a pass ahead of everyone. And he made numerous runs. There was a run at the end, I think about the 85th minute, I looked at the clock, where he overlapped Shay Adams, and Shay had a shot, but that just shows the fitness and the willingness for him. But no, it was a brilliant finish, and no, I wouldn't be critical of Pickford there. I'd just say it's a really, really clever, intelligent finish from a confident player at the moment.
Well, Belvis, Shay Adams had a great chance. Elia Nusi had a shot. Carl Walker-Peters had a couple of chances. So did Armstrong. But of course, that second goal came from Shane Long off the bench. I mean, what a moment that was. St Mary's erupted.
Extraordinary. It's 2 years, almost to the day, since his last Premier League goal. Of course, he scored the other day, was it Swansea in the FA Cup? But yeah, it was a 2-0 win back then against Villa. 2-0 win today. The other goal in both games, Stuart Armstrong. So, Shane Long, he has a good script writer. He also pops up with these goals when there's discussions around maybe he'll get a new contract, maybe he won't. So again, that all helps. But what a header. Just after coming on. I don't understand quite how he managed to beat 3 Everton players to the ball there. The ball was in the air for a long time. Great cross from Livramento, who was wonderful on his first start back in the team again, bombing up and down. But yeah, Shane Long coming off the bench. It was only about a minute that he'd been on the pitch. Lovely header, exactly what everyone's taught to do at a young age. Back across where it came from, bounced on the line, perfect. And then he's the coolest man in the stadium after that, isn't he? Just goes and says hello to a few fans down there. Yeah, wonderful moment. And again, what a player to have available to come off the bench.
Yeah, Dean, as Paul's just said, it was a great cross, good leap, good header. I'm going to ask you again, should Pickford have come for that? Should he have done better with this opportunity?
You could say, because I know what you're trying to say, Steve, because it's quite a long cross, the cross was hanging in the air. But I think, like Paul said, there's enough defenders there, and I think sometimes when goalkeepers can come and get involved in the action when there's defenders there, allow them to deal with it. And I think Shay Long just wanted to get the ball more. He saw the opportunity. The build-up to goal, I'm screaming at Stuart Armstrong to shoot, and I thought he was going to shoot, after his goal, and he laid it wide, and Livramento, good again, like Paul mentioned on his return. Brilliant player, and it's a good cross into a good area, but Shane Long, it's a fantastic header. To head that down and beat Pickford, England's #1, is impressive, and it's great to see for him. And players like that coming towards, I hate me saying it, but coming towards the end of your career are so valuable, in the dressing room, to have that option to come off the bench, whether it's seeing a game out, like potentially would have been today, coming on to 1-0, to get a vital goal, and just to see the joy from the other players. It just shows what he still means to the squad, and experienced players are so important, but it's a brilliant header. But you look at Pickford, I was watching him in some stages in the game, he looks frustrated, he looks like a really frustrated figure, whether he doesn't strike a ball properly from a goal kick, he gets frustrated with himself, he's kind of playing to the crowd, he takes his time over the things even when they're losing, and I think that kind of sums up Everton at the moment. It really, really does. But no, I'm not going to be critical of him in terms of coming for the cross. I think it's a good cross and a good header, and well deserved for Southampton 2-0 win.
Oh, it's a great moment, wasn't it? We certainly enjoyed that one and delighted for Shane. And that win sees us move on to 32 points, Belvers. What does that result do in the grand scheme of things moving forward?
Well, straight away it puts to bed those little fears that Saints could maybe up their game against the big boys and then typically drop points against the teams that are struggling at the other end of the table. Straight away that's not the case now, because they've done the job here today. And the goal at the start of the season was top 10. Everyone was talking about top 10, which was sensible, not getting too carried away. We've been here before when they've said, maybe we could be best of the rest, all that sort of thing. It's not that long ago that Saints were deep in a relegation battle. They know that they're beyond that now. They've moved up into another group of teams, and some fans are talking already about, maybe there's a chance of 7th or something like that. It's always been consistent. Top 10, top 10, top 10 from inside that dressing room. And there's now a 5-point gap, I think it is, between 10th and 11th. So that bodes very, very well. The run of fixtures coming up looks very winnable. It's and if you're performing like that, you've got nothing to fear against any team, especially coming here. We said it beforehand, one defeat here at St Mary's all season. suddenly this is becoming a bit of a fortress again. For so long, it was a little bit too easy for teams coming to St Mary's. That's not the case now. City found that out, didn't they, the last home game. So everything is moving in the right direction. Everyone in the important seats over there are thinking about small steps. Some of the rest of us can get a bit carried away, perhaps.
Yeah, we love to see it. Now, Dean, we spoke before the game and you mentioned that Everton could be going into a bit of a relegation battle now. They lost today. Burnley got a win against Brighton, a big win. Also, Watford won against Villa, and Newcastle shared a point with West Ham. So now those results have gone that way. Everton lose today. Do you think they're now fully sucked into this relegation scrap?
I think they're definitely in it, and I think they need to probably realise that. Obviously, they weren't expected to be in this situation, and the difficulty is for the players, I think, probably for Frank as well. They're not used to this situation. You know, Frank Lampard's played for Chelsea most of his career and has been fighting for the title. That doesn't mean he can't do it, but he's not used to this situation. The players have got to kind of understand where they're at. They're struggling. And the biggest thing is, me and Paul were touching on it before the show, defensively they look really poor. They look like they're going to concede, and that's tough, because if you've not got a strong foundation for your team, it's really, really difficult. And they've got some threats. They've got some really, really good players, but they just look a little bit lightweight, if I'm honest, in the important positions. Centre half, struggling. The two centre midfielders today got overrun. You know, the Southampton players were excellent, but they got overrun and they got outwitted. There just doesn't seem to be that desire within the team that if you go 1-0 down, how are we going to get back into this game? And that's difficult, because you're going to have those setbacks and you need to respond. One thing that could potentially save them would be the home form and playing at, you know, the home fans. Can they suck wins? Can they help them at home? And I think that would be really important for them. I think they're in this now, and the challenge is Burnley picking up points. Norwich are picking up points. I know they lost today, but a good performance in at Liverpool. Newcastle are a better team now. They've strengthened. There's some belief there. Eddie Howe's got some belief in that squad. They're playing better football. Watford have got a good manager now, and Roy Hodgson, who's been there and done it, and he knows what needs to be done. So they're in trouble. They're in the midst, and they've got to find a solution to winning games, and that really is not easy when you're used to losing.
Well, before we turn our focus to Norwich next week, let's hear from the fans now and what you have to say after such a fantastic win there. Plenty of very happy fans getting in touch indeed. Peter on YouTube has said they just couldn't cope with our energy and teamwork. Babak on Facebook has said Romeo is fantastic, and some flame emojis as well. Les Ward, thanks for getting in touch. He says, well done, keep it up. Lawrence Martin, hello to you. He says, go on lads, great performance. I thought KWP played a blinder. He certainly did. Jackie Chalk has also commented, what a performance, totally in control. Some outstanding performances, but the best performance was the team. Amazing. David Palmer's also got in touch. Thanks for this one. Brilliant lads, marching on, you lovely Saints. Debbie Cardy says, well done Saints, you're doing great. Martin Nordall says, up the mighty Saints. And Sarah Gamble has left us this comment, brilliant result again, and a love heart. Oh, it's a good time to be a Saints fan, isn't it?
It really is, Kenzie, it really is. Well, let's draw our attention to the next game, which is Norwich on Friday. They gave Liverpool a bit of a scare today, didn't they? Went 1-0 up, although eventually losing 3-1. Paul, what are your early thoughts ahead of that one?
They have improved in recent weeks under Dean Smith. I think they had an initial run of losses, but the performances were right up there, and they perhaps deserved a bit better. They are going to be a difficult team. We know that they took 3 points off Saints earlier in the season, but Friday night, this place is going to be bouncing. It's a fantastic atmosphere every time we come here to St Mary's now to watch the team play. Again, there's not going to be any complacency out there. They'll give the Norwich all sorts of respect and just put in another professional performance, I think. There's not going to be there's no great need to change things around in the team. There is still competition all over the park. There are great performances every week. So, you know, everyone is going to come back here on Friday full of confidence, expecting another 3 points and whizzing up the table more.
Yeah, Dean, we spoke in previous shows about Southampton having to get through a tough period against United, City, Spurs. They have done so, and maybe things will be getting a bit easier now. Do you think there could be an upset on Friday or not?
Well, there's never an easy game in the Premier League, and Norwich are fighting for their lives. But I think the biggest test for Southampton now is repeating their performances. You know, repeating the energy they put in, repeating the desire. The noticeable thing for me is, watching it, is they're doing the basics brilliantly. Winning second balls, getting to the ball first, getting crosses into the box, recovering well, keeping their shape. The discipline's there within the team. Yes, they're really exciting to watch, and we really enjoyed that today, the chances they created. So the challenge for them as a team, it doesn't matter if they're playing Norwich or they're playing Liverpool, is to repeat that. And if they can, they'll beat Norwich. I've got no doubt about that. But that is the challenge for them, and that will be difficult because Norwich will come here and make it hard for them. They will set up. Would they take a point before the game? 100% they would, because Southampton are one of the form teams at the moment. But I think with this team, like you say, Friday night under the lights, with the place bouncing, start the game bright, start high energy, and like I say, the front two are frightening. No one want to play against them. So if they're playing well, Southampton will win the game.
Well, Paul Dean, you certainly picked a good one to come to, didn't you? Thank you ever so much for your company, as always. And thanks to you, the fans, for joining us. And in Paul's words, this place is going to be bouncing on Friday. And as always, we will be right here to bring you all the action. So make sure you join us live on Saints Live next Friday from 7:15. See you then.
See you soon.